So I don't have a lot of Superman knowledge or like lore in my brain going into it, but I think overall a lot of the comedy in that movie just wasn't working
For
too
me,
much, but it
especially from
does
like,
he does seem like the type of character that would at least give her almost a big brother talk. Yeah, I
oh
think that's
yeah,
gonna be like one of Scorsese's I mean, honestly, with his age, it's probably gonna be one of his last
man.
movies. But I was just that might be my favorite scene in the entire movie. So
Yeah.
I didn't see this in theaters, and so like the whole news article came out that like how many dogs were getting adopted due to Crypto's popularity in this movie, and then I was like, that scene came up. I was like, and tell me Marvel has already announced they're going to be rebooting everything
Yeah.
in the near future, so. I think you need to strike now. Thunderbolts would probably fall into is probably how they're looking at it. So Galactus, whoever, Kang, there's rumor he might come back and laugh. And like so it feels like we haven't got good MCU humor in a while, and it felt like this was kind of old MCU humor. The action in this movie's good,
Mm.
but it's not over the top. Going through all those
So,
rooms,
mm.
it made me think this is what Multiverse of Madness could have been. I
Oh,
thought the movie was super good on my first watch, and then I rewatched it again earlier this year for our podcast, and
yeah.
I had some issues with it. They didn't
Oh,
nominate um Ray Fiennes this year for Conclave because they literally
sure.
said, like, you
Okay.
know how when you turn on like a Tarantino movie, you know it's a Tarantino movie?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
When you turn on a Yorgos movie, you know it's a Yorgos movie. Yeah. And
Oh,
like honestly, I think a lot of the male audience that watches this might relate more to Yelena. Oh,
hey everyone, this is Abhi from No-Budget Filmmaking Podcast, and here's with me my wonderful friend Connor. Hi, Connor.
yeah, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Connor. I've been Movie Shark on TikTok, Instagram, and recently YouTube for about 2 years now, and that's basically what I talk about. Movies and sharks are my two big niches.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I will talk about it later before at the end of the day, but today we were for you guys. I watched two movies that really touched me. One of them was Superman from James Gunn, and the other one from Marvel's Thunderbolts asterisk. Right now it's called The New Avengers. I don't know about that marketing gimmick, by the way. So I watched Superman first, and I guess you watched the Superman movie first, okay? So what do you think
Yeah,
about that movie?
I liked it. I didn't love it like I think everyone else did because that
Mm,
seems to be the popular opinion. It's just I haven't seen a lot of the other Superman movies. I've seen all of Henry Cavill's, but outside of that, I don't know if I've seen any of the other ones that are older. So I don't have a lot of Superman knowledge or like lore in my brain going into it, but I think overall a lot of the comedy in that movie just wasn't working for me, especially from like Guy Gardner. Like there was a
mm,
few that were okay, but like it was very James Gunn coded. Yeah, I mean, like, and I'm fine with it too, because I mean, I know Guy Gardner. I've read some of the lore and talked to some of my friends. I know he's supposed to be somewhat of a comedic character, comedic relief in aspects, but I mean, there's just other parts of the movie too. Like, I mean, I don't want to jump ahead and get to the end for
mhm,
anyone, but the final fight scene I'm gonna jump to is the baseball stadium.
mm.
Like, it went on for a little too long for me, especially when it kind of hurts in the day of like movies that we're in because for me, I know the DC is going to keep going. We know Superman's going to keep going. We know David Cornsweet is here for the long run. And so that final fight on the field, I'm forgetting the villains' names. Like just felt like it took so long for when we knew Superman is going to win in the end, and we're going to keep going on with his story.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And that was one of the other scenes that kind of bothered me, is because Superman, like everyone knows is just like inherently good and like wouldn't back down from a fight if it meant humanity was at risk, even when humanity turned their back on him. And so that bothered me that he threw a heartfelt scene because I'm with you. I don't remember much about the conversation that they had there, but there's also this like big threat behind you, or at least it seems like a big threat, and he's just ignoring it because now humanity has turned his back on Superman.
yeah,
Yeah, it like I think James Gunn's a good director and everything, but
mm,
like it felt like he wanted to do something new, but he felt like he needed to play it safe, and he was like throwing like little hints of Star-Lord in there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of the quips that I didn't like. And if I jump to the post-credit scene or whatever, when we see Supergirl, I was like,
Yeah.
for some reason, I was like, Superman would be a little bit more firm with Supergirl of going drunk and everything, don't you think? Even though it's a little silly thing at the end.
I'd like to think so, but it's kind of like I was saying before, I don't know much on the lore of Superman
Hmm.
outside of, Zack Snyder's movies and now this one. So I can't speak on that too much, but he does seem like the type of character that would at least give her almost a big brother talk.
Yeah, and it didn't, so it kind of threw me off. But what about what you love about the movie?
What I loved, crypto for starters.
Yes, yes,
Um, I mean, let's just get the obvious out of the way. We all love dogs.
yeah.
Um, I thought about this one for a long time, and I don't remember if there was like a special word for it or something, but I really liked when he was in what I would call like the void or the alternate dimension. I
Oh,
liked that whole scene, and due to like that scene, I didn't, again, not knowing a lot of Superman lore, I texted one of my friends who's like just a Superman nerd
oh,
and was asking him kind of about how Superman gets his powers from the sun, because I thought it was just he had the powers. I know the sun would kind of like help enhance him, but I didn't think he just lost them if he wasn't around him, and I guess it had to do with like the kryptonite poisoning. But
hmm.
that character that they introduced down there to kind of generate kryptonite and keep him like, powerless was super fascinating to me. And then seeing them come together to like get out of that, I really enjoyed that entire like what maybe was 20 minutes of the movie.
Yes, and also how he saved his Metamorpho, if I'm not wrong, that was the character's name, and he helped him save his son. That I like too, I guess.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I mean, I like Hot Girl as a character. I've
Oh,
always liked her in every other piece of media we've seen with her. I'm curious to see where Gunn goes with her in the future.
yeah. Are you thinking about the Justice League animated series where they featured Hawkgirl? Are you talking about that?
I've seen a few of those. I haven't like watched that all the way through.
Hmm.
Back in high school, I got into it a little bit with my high school girlfriend. Um, I know she was in Black Adam, which was not a good movie, but I
Yeah.
did enjoy her in that.
Yeah. I honestly, in Black Adam, I love Dr. Fate. He was the show
D
stealer for me.
Yeah, that movie had such potential. It's just The Rock's unnecessary arrogance around it that I think brought the movie down.
Yeah, honestly, it would be much more better if it was just Black Adam versus Shazam. It would be really, really good. But again, I don't know why it happened, but I don't know what to say.
Probably because The Rock has it in his contract that he can only be hit a certain amount of times during a movie.
Yeah, that's. I hope it's fake because that hurt him for like his last three or four movies flopped because of all this. So
I mean, we might see a turn with his new movie, the Smashing Machine.
yeah,
Scorsese's directing it, so there's hope.
no, it's not Scorsese. I think it's Safdie brothers.
Or no, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of his next movie that he's already signed up for. It's Scorsese,
Oh.
with him. It's going to be The Rock and Leo, I think, and I think it's going to be their detectives in Hawaii, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
oh, I didn't know about that at all. So
Yeah,
Scorsese's
that's the one.
directing it?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's going to be like one of Scorsese's. I mean, honestly, with his age, it's probably going to be one of his last movies. But
okay.
not to be
Yeah,
morbid, but I feel like at some point he's going to quit the game.
yeah, but yeah, I didn't know about that. So I think he's taking this acting things a little bit seriously now. Oh, that's good for him.
Yeah, I mean, personally, he seems like overall a decent human. Like, obviously,
Yes.
we don't know him obviously, I don't know him. I don't have his number, but from what you see in the media, he seems overall like a good person, just a little arrogant. But I mean, we're seeing him drop weight. We're seeing him take some more serious roles. I think his path is in a good direction.
One thing I really loved was his speech at the end with Lex Luthor when he said that was like pure Superman.
I was gonna, that might be my favorite scene in the entire movie,
Yeah.
especially like the behind the scenes clip came out with James Gunn talking to Corn Sweat about it, and then like just watching him re-record it like from behind the scenes, and then like them all jumping up and cheering. That scene though, like you said, 100% Superman. It was just done flawlessly. I think David Corn Sweat has a very bright future.
And one more thing I really loved was I love two more scenes. One when um Mr. Terrific goes to rescue Superman. I love that scene too. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah. I I'm like so in between on this because like part of me when watching this felt like we don't need the entire like Justice Gang here. Like I feel like there's more we could flesh out with Superman, Crypto, Fortress of Solitude, Lex Luthor, any of them, any of the above. We could flesh out more, but instead we're spending time with all these added on characters. But at the same time, I like want these characters fleshed out a little more because I did like Mr. Terrific a lot. I liked Hawkgirl. I think the only one I'm okay with the screen time we got was Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not as hard. Okay, now I'm thinking about it. If when I look back at the movie, uh, I only think about Superman, Crypto, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, and Mr. Terrific. I don't think about much about the Guy Gardner or Hawkgirl, sorry, and not even his, what's the other guy's name? Um, yeah, not even the other antagonist, the lady who can turn everything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, oh, the engineer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the engineer. Yeah, I cannot. I don't remember them for some reason. I only remember like some key players who stood out. So I guess that's something. So I think the movie would work if there was just Mr. Terrific and no one else. You know what I mean? Like just Mr. Terrific, not the Justed Gang.
I could be down with that. I
Yeah.
think that could help the movie for me. Um, Going back to like positive about this movie, I think again, one of maybe my second favorite scene in the movie is early in the movie when Lois is interviewing Clark.
Mm,
Um, because like they're a couple, they're already like dating. I'm happy that Gunn didn't give us a new origin story,
mm,
but we see that they are already like in each other's lives pretty heavily.
mm,
It's an anniversary dinner, if I'm not mistaken, why he's over in her apartment that night.
mm,
And then she like, so it might just be me, but going into it, I was like, oh, she's gonna like take it easy interviewing Superman. It's her
mm.
boyfriend. It's not just Superman to her, but instead she like actually is like driving in these questions, even when he's like uncomfortable answering them and like won't hold up. And I actually love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I'm with you because it seems like for a lot of them, or well, I'm sorry, I'm just speaking on, you know, the previous ones that we got in recent memory, is Lois kind of just seems like just like the typical like female character almost like damsel in distress like Superman's just there to rescue her and she can't do too much on her own. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen those movies, so I could be remembering wrong, but this one it feels like they're actually trying to give her like she is a strong woman and she is able to handle a lot on her own. Now, obviously she's not handling alien fights, but she isn't afraid to push the barrier of how or of making people uncomfortable to get the answer she needs. So
Yeah.
it's like showing that she's like actually very committed to her job, and I really liked Lois in this.
Yeah.
Dude, there was no reason they needed to add in Crypto getting like swarmed by the engineer's stuff and
Oh
yelping in the beginning. I'll tell
yes.
you what.
Yeah, my heart skipped a beat when I was like, oh my God, please, please don't end Crypto, right? Please don't
Well,
unalive him.
so I didn't see this in theaters, and so like the whole news article came out that like how many dogs were getting adopted due to Crypto's popularity in this movie, and then I was like, that scene came up. I was like, tell me that dog adoption is not going up because he died in this, and people feel
Yes.
bad.
Yes. But yeah, he survived, and at the end, he was the one who saved Superman in a lot of ways,
Oh yeah.
and that was the fact. And speaking of all the adoptions, I'm also mixed about that because the last time when that happened, it was from 101 Dalmatians, but a lot of people adopted a lot of Dalmatians, but Dalmatians are really expensive breed in a way, so
Yeah.
it takes a lot to take care of them. So a lot of those dogs died because of that, because a lot of people adopted them and they didn't know what to do with them. And I'm also worried about the breeders and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was literally just talking to my mom about this on the phone yesterday, basically saying, like all this is coming out. My mom's like, yeah, it's a really good thing. I'm like, I don't know, because like a lot of people adopt a dog because it's cute and don't realize it's a 15-year commitment and they don't give it the life it needs or deserves. Like, and everything you just said, like what are breeders going to do now? Are they going to try and make dogs that look like Crypto because of the film's popularity? Like,
yeah, it's a mixed bag. It should be more adoption than anything else. I think more adoptions, more rescues, and breeding should be illegal. Let me just say it. It should be illegal to some degree.
I don't totally disagree with you, but I'm also I my dog was bred, so I'm a little.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, let me rephrase it. It should be more ethical, right?
That's 100% fair.
Yeah. So I want that. And one more thing, it seems like one thing that is being like people are doing a lot of cope about this was the message that from his parents, from Superman's parents.
Yeah, I mean, I do we know if it's true? Because like I don't know if that's how Jor-El actually felt. I thought Comic Accurate was he was like they were good people. They wanted Superman to be good. So I thought that Lex had tampered with it because, like, let's be honest, everything else Lex does, he's, house smart. He built a Superman replica. And
Yeah.
so, like, and they made the comment, like, oh, we've had the best IT guys in the world look at this and it's not tampered. Like, I feel like it might be tampered.
Yeah, but again, I saw a clip from James Gunn's interview with, I'm not sure it was his name, Josh or something, Josh Hodovich or something. I'm butchering his name and I'm sorry about that. But James Gunn said it's true.
All right. Well,
And all this, Mr. Terrific said it's true. But I think since everyone is hating that and coping with it, that's why I call it a cope. I think he should change that in the future. I think he should retcon it.
I don't hate the idea. I wouldn't, I would also just be okay with him just not really bringing it back up. Like, we can
Yeah.
move on. Like, because I mean, at the end of the day, Superman lived his whole life thinking he was good. He's not going to change his character now just because of that message that was now revealed. I mean, he already proved he's just going to be the good guy and still try and fight for the little man. So I'd be okay with him just never touching it again. You don't have to retcon it necessarily and try and correct it, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah, because I think he should listen. Again, I'm not a filmmaker, and he already announced a sequel, by the way, right? You know that, obviously. And I think he should, for me, I would need more. I think you're good with like not discussing about it, but for me, I would need it to be retcon because I really want both of their parents to be supportive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm in the minority for that.
Yeah, I get it, but again, it's the same. And what do you think about the sequel of that movie, Man of Tomorrow?
Do we know who the villain's going to be yet?
I think in the photo he shared, it's still going to be Lex Luthor.
Okay.
I don't know, he might uh, sprinkle in a few more, but it's going to be Lex Luthor if I'm not wrong.
I don't hate the idea. I mean, like, obviously we knew we would get a sequel eventually.
Yeah.
Um, I almost feel like maybe not to, call out Marvel, but like Marvel kind of set the stage for comic book movies. And so like I wish they would almost do it in phases like Marvel did. So like maybe we get this Superman, we get the new Batman, and we get like a few others that James Gunn wants to do, and then get the big culminating movie, and then save the sequel for phase two, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what I would prefer, not so back to back, but again, I guess at the same time we got Iron Man 1 and 2 back to back. I
Yes.
mean, pretty quickly before we got the first Avengers. So we'll see. Um, I think it's maybe a good idea to kind of ride the high right now and try and get this hype around it. because we're about to get into Thunderbolts, I know. And Marvel has already announced they're going to be rebooting everything
Yeah.
in the near future. So I think you need to strike now, which is what I think James Gunn thinks as well, to get people on DC's train and off of Marvel since Marvel's rebooting entirely.
Yeah.
I think this is a hot take, but I think it's the best Batman movie we've ever gotten.
Oh, okay. Are you saying it is because you're saying it is the best Batman movie, not the best movie? That superhero movie, because that title is still to The Dark Knight.
Nope.
No? Okay, I
I'm
really
not.
need to hear about that.
I like The Dark Knight, but I have my issues with The Dark Knight.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay. So at the end of the day, I Christian Bale, I think, arguably is the best Bruce Wayne, but I don't love his Batman. Um, I think that movie, I'm not a fan of the actor who plays Two-Face. I'm blanking on his name right now. But he when he's Harvey Dent in the beginning, just the DA, I think he's good. I think once he becomes Two-Face, he loses me. It feels very forced. Um, the movie in itself is a perfect 10 out of 10 every time Joker's on screen. There's issues I have when he's not on screen. And then my biggest issue with the entirety of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, because my order for Batman or for the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, is actually Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. Um, I don't like how clean Gotham looks.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it looks too modern, it looks too clean. I like the dirty, grimy Batman. I like how Gotham looks in the Batman. That's why I like Batman Begins so much is you see the dark, dirty parts of Gotham because Gotham isn't the city that has, you know, the nice neighborhood and then dirty neighborhood or like, the ghetto, whatever you want to call it. It's all supposed to be just crime lords and just horrible people. And it's why Wayne Manor is so far outside of Gotham in itself. So that's my biggest issues with The Dark Knight. I still think it's a very good movie. I'm not going to discredit you there, but I think the Batman's better.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of fair, but it's what do you think? Like in Batman Begins, the movie is about Batman, but The Dark Knight is a Joker movie at the end of the day, don't you think?
It is. I mean, 100%. So, I mean, can you really say it's the best Batman movie at that point?
I don't know. For me, it was, and it still is. Let's see, and it's the sole reason is the Joker, because that's the best Joker we had, and hot take, it was the best we will ever have. His portrayal, even though Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for his portrayal, but that was not Joker Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm also not crazy about Joaquin's Joker movie. I think Joaquin's good in it, but I'm not a big fan of that movie. Um, Actually, Heath Ledger is my second favorite Joker.
Okay, let me guess. The first one is Mark Hamill.
No,
Okay. Uh,
Jack Nicholson.
oh, really?
Yeah. I like Jack Nicholson so much because I mean, and again, now I read a lot of comics in my life, but I do know more kind of about the DC's Batman side of things than I do Superman side. And like the Joker, while he is Batman's biggest like enemy, he's also got a little bit of comedy to him. He's a little goofy. And so I like that aspect of Nicholson's, whereas Heath Ledger's is just serious all the time. Don't get me wrong, Heath Ledger's is the better performance. And I understand why people say Heath Ledger. I think there's an argument that Heath Ledger even looks better. I just prefer Jack Nicholson's because
Mm.
I like the goofy side of things.
Yeah, the fantastical aspect of his the gun and the showmanship and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but again, for not it's not his fault, Jack Nicholson's, but the character that they made, I see a normal Joker, it just takes me out of it. You know what I mean? Like we see in the beginning, he's a normal human being, and we have his name and everything. All this backstory just doesn't work for me. You know what I mean, right? And he's
And
the
that's
one.
100% fair.
Yeah, and him shooting. Bruce's parents, it just doesn't work for me either. So that's the only part that that's the only reason I don't like him that much. Yeah, I don't even think about him when I think about Joker. I usually think about like um, Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's my
I want to watch the animated stuff because I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about Mark Hamill, and I mean, I'm a Star Wars nerd anyway, so. But yeah, I mean, one I do really want to watch. I think it's Gotham, where Cameron Monaghan is the Joker. That one intrigues me. I've seen
yeah,
clips of him on TikTok, and I want to watch more of that.
yeah. But again, did you see Joker 2?
Yeah,
Okay,
I wish I had.
yeah, same. There was if it was not a Joker movie and it was just some guy in a prison, I think that would work, right?
Yeah, and the dialogue just isn't there for me to make it a good courtroom drama, which is what they went for. They went for a musical courtroom drama. It just didn't work because the dialogue was, it didn't seem like anyone was smart enough to be in that courtroom. I mean, like
Yeah.
when we're dealing with lawyers and judges and all these people, like I get not everyone in that field is going to be the smartest person. We see that daily on the news or whatever. But for the most part, that group of people, that career path entails people who are very witty, very quick thinking, very smart. And it didn't seem like anyone was that way. And then the end, when they tried to tie it in to say that that was Heath Ledger's Joker at the end, like that just, it feels so disrespectful to Heath Ledger. But that entire movie kind of felt like Joaquin phoned in that performance for a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like it felt like they did so well for the first movie. I have my issues with it. I don't like that first movie really. However, the second one, because it's obviously a very popular movie, the second one, it felt like they were just riding the coattails of the success and like no one really wanted to put their all in it. They weren't going for that Oscar performance anymore. It felt like they were there to collect the paycheck.
Yes. And again, it was because there's a lot of things wrong with that movie. One of them is unfortunately it's like that's the hot take, not hot take, that's the take I saw over and over again with everyone, every film critic, everyone who talked about that movie was like, he just wanted to, what's his name?
Todd Phillips.
It
Yeah.
felt like he made this movie because it felt like someone made this movie who hated the first movie. And it's funny because it's the same director.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Well, and like, I don't know, have you seen The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver?
Yes.
D The first movie lost so much credit for me after I watched King of Comedy.
Oh, okay.
Like they just it's almost a direct rip-off. I'm not a Taxi Driver fan either, but yeah.
And but still, you need to watch Mark Hamill's Joker. It's really it's the funny aspect that you're looking for that you loved in Jack Nicholson's. It's I would say it's even better with Mark Hamill, and obviously the natural how do I say that natural unpredictableness and craziness and evil genius aspect of it is there too. So that's why I think Mark Hamill is a better Joker than Nicholson's. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people put him above Heath Ledger. So,
Yes, yes.
ever
But
watched the
again,
Harley Quinn show?
I have not. I have seen clips though.
Honestly, I think it's pretty good. I had a lot of fun with that, especially the first two seasons. A lot of fun with it. It was also funny. I came out right around the time of Velma. I don't know if you ever watched that. Just horrible piece of TV show media, whatever you want to call it. Don't ever watch Velma. Watch Harley Quinn. That's a very good show.
Yeah, I've never watched Velma because saw the critics just lashing out of it and everyone was just hating on it and I was like, I don't want to watch it ever again.
Yeah, I don't know if there was one scene that I could tell you I enjoyed, and I watched the entire season.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that happens a lot, right? I guess a lot of since because there's a lot of media right now with streaming services and whatnot. It's just yeah. Some people love to. One thing I really will never know, it's like the Netflix. They cancel the good shows and the shit shows, yeah, sorry for the word, but the garbage shows really keep getting renewed for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's Netflix is an interesting thing, and their CEO is just a terrible person.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I mean, terrible person's a loose term, but in our area of love,
Hmm.
he basically wants movie theaters to die.
Oh,
He, yeah, he basically wants movie theaters to shut down. That's why I think K-pop Demon Hunters was the first Netflix movie to get an actual theatrical release. I could be wrong on that, but like he basically wants people to just stay at home and watch because he like looks at the numbers and he's like, look how many people watch at home, but like how many people put on Netflix in the background while they vacuum, while they cook? Like people aren't watching.
okay. So now I want to talk about Thunderbolts.
I like the movie.
Hmm.
It's not in my top 10 MCU.
Really?
I think for me, Thunderbolts would probably fall into 14,
Oh, wow. Really?
maybe. Yeah, okay. So I'll rip what I have above it.
Hmm.
So, and this is in order.
Hmm.
Infinity War is my number one.
Hmm.
Winter Soldier,
Okay.
Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3,
Okay.
Endgame, Ragnarok, Wakanda Forever,
Okay.
First Iron Man, First
Okay.
Avengers,
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Spider-Man No Way Home,
Okay.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings,
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2,
Okay.
Avengers Age of Ultron, and then I would probably have Thunderbolts.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, so Thunderbolts. I didn't know a lot about this movie really going into it. I'm a guy, I avoid trailers for movies as much as I
Hmm.
can. So I didn't really see a whole lot. I knew the characters for the most part that were in it. Obviously, Bob is a new introduced character, but other than that, we've seen all these characters before. Um, and then I mean, I didn't get to see this in theaters. I just watched it for the first time last night. It's on Disney Plus now. So it feels like a weird time for Marvel. Like obviously they're on a downhill slide right now. They haven't put out a lot of great recently. Besides, one and two here and there. But so it feels like this is a movie that should have came out during the Marvel hype. Like I understand it couldn't with where we're at in the timeline, but that where they were all ripping the posters off, the show had said, the new Avengers, like it felt very underwhelming.
Hmm. Okay. So what do you think it movie should have released that to do better? Like,
Timeline wise, it released at the right time. I'm just saying, like, Marvel has shot itself in the foot so many times with how many misses they've had recently. I mean, what was it? Mrs. Marvel, they've had Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Ant-Man and the
yeah.
Lost Quantum Mania. Like, they've had so many misses, a lot of people are jumping off the Marvel train. They've had so many TV shows that people just don't want to watch all that to be able to understand everything. So they've just lost the audience they once had. Like Avengers Endgame was a worldwide phenomenon. And
Yes.
they still had that high going into Spider-Man. What was that one? Far From Home?
No.
They still had that high there. I mean, they even still had it probably up until Multiverse of Madness. People were so excited for that, and it fell off. So there's not really like it's the right time timeline wise for this movie to come out. It's just they admit like the marketing to like have all the people go around and rip off the posters that say New Avengers, I think just was very underwhelming because of the size of Marvel's fan base right now.
Yeah. Uh, so what I'm listening is like, what if it was released right after Far From Home? I think that would be a good time, right? Like around, mm, because the characters were there, right? The characters were introduced. All of them were introduced around Far From Home, if I'm not wrong.
Besides Yelena and her dad.
Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, because
They
Black
were,
Widow came out in like 21.
yeah, but Far From Home was in 21 too, if I'm not wrong. Far From Home,
No,
not
you're
No
no,
Way
you
Home.
you're right. I just think that'd also be a miss if they just released three Marvel movies in one year, especially after how Black Widow was received by the
Hmm.
fans. Yeah, I think if I were to go back and watch any of the shows, it would be Moon Knight and Loki. I think I'm good on everything else.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. Oh, but one more show on Disney Plus, but that's not part of the MCU, is the X-Men 97. I love that show. I love that show
I've
so
heard
much.
phenomenal things.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not heard a bad thing about that. So I will check that one out eventually as well.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It should have been released earlier, but again, that's why it's all the movie that made me so better for it is because of the themes that it put out. And it felt like it came out, it would be really, really good if they came out right after pandemic when people were feeling lonelier, people were feeling a little bit depressed. That would be right at the time of like if it had came out right after Black Widow or around Far From Home, that would be the right time because the themes were so strong in that one. That would won my heart in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to kind of place it because 2021 we get Far From Home, Black Widow. You get I can't remember if it was that year or early 22 that we got Falcon and Winter Soldier. You don't really get the Thunderbolts without those three projects alone because you get John Walker, the new Captain America, you get Yelena, and you get her dad. So it's just hard. And I hear what you're saying about, you know, people's mental state coming out of the pandemic, and you're 100% right. It's just, I think there was some poor planning for the future of Marvel after Endgame.
Oh yes, 100%. It was so the moment after Endgame, they felt like they were running around like headless chicken after that because there was so many shows, so many projects that were greenlit. And in those projects, we lost a lot of good projects that should have come out earlier, like Daredevil Born Again. It should have been released like not 8 years after the third season ended because
Yeah.
it was just bad.
Yeah. Well, let's move away from the bad Marvel that we got. And let's
Yeah,
talk about good Marvel that we got.
yeah. Thunderbolts.
Um,
So, what do you loved?
I liked a lot of this movie. I'll get this out of the way. I think Florence Pugh is the best working actress currently.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think every single movie that she's in, she elevates that movie. There's a lot of movies that she's in that if she was not in them, I think would be bad movies, and we would talk about them in a very different way. So, I love her in this. And I like the fact, because I mean, let's be honest, a lot of actors probably are drawn to Marvel because of the paycheck that Disney writes.
Yes,
So,
obviously.
they're hiring you obviously because you're a well-known, proven actor a lot of the times. But when you get that check, it would be easy to not give your all. I still feel like Florence Pugh gives her all in these movies, which I appreciate because I think she's the best part of this movie. I love the character of Yelena.
Mhm.
The honestly, like my only two real big gripes with this movie, like complaints, and they're not real complaints. It's just kind of how I perceive the movie, is one, it became way too predictable that they were all in that bunker to just take each other out. And that
Yeah,
was, they were just expendable to the politician. I'm blanking on her name right now.
yeah,
Um, so that's my one. And then the other one, and this isn't anything the movie did wrong. It's just kind of where we're at in like a society of movies or like a world of movies that we live in now, is we know there's more movies to come. We know that this movie is something setting up a bigger culminating event, like a Thanos level threat. But now we obviously have to go bigger than Thanos, or we're just, what are we doing here? Is probably how they're looking at it. So Galactus, whoever, Kang, there's rumor he might come back. So my big thing, that scene towards the end when Bob like is destroying New York City and there's that big slab of the building that falls down and like it's supposed to be this heartfelt moment of all the bad guys coming together and they're like saving one of them in order to flip this piece off of him. Few things is like they had what, three super soldiers lifting that thing and they were
yep.
still struggling that much. That
Oh,
seems like we've seen Captain America lift how many things? We've seen, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. But the black guy that they introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we found out was also with the Hydra experiments, and became a super soldier that was hidden by America. I mean, we've seen them lift incredible things, and you're telling me three super soldiers struggled with this like 10-foot piece of concrete?
Mm.
That was a gripe, but really the big thing for me is I know this is culminating to a bigger event, like I mentioned, and my thought is this is the team that we're gonna see save the world. And you're throwing in what? Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So it's just like me worried about the future of Marvel is what it
Uh,
made me think about.
uh, okay, you have to explain a little more about that. When you say you're worried about the future, are you saying that you're worried about their power level, if I'm hearing it right, or what?
Pretty much, yeah, because like that team, and I'll even include people who aren't in this movie, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Hulk, She-Hulk. I don't know if that team takes out Thanos. I don't think they do. But we've already beaten Thanos. So we're now going to go on to someone who's bigger and badder than Thanos, and he's gonna come next, or she. I don't know who's the next plan because it was originally
Doomsday.
Kang. We don't know what's happening. Okay, I'm sorry. So I just don't know if I believe that this team is going to be able to beat the big bad, and if it's this team, it feels like it's going to become something like, they only win for the plot and make the audience feel good.
Hmm.
That's
Okay.
my concern.
Uh, okay, I have to spoil you a little bit, and I'm sorry about that.
That's fine.
But for Doomsday, they're bringing all the original X-Men back and the
That's
new
true.
Avengers. So,
No, I did forget to think about that. So that's a fair point,
yeah, and also they're bringing the Fantastic Four.
which
So,
I haven't seen that yet. I want to.
I haven't seen that either. I will wait for its Disney Plus release. But what I was saying is that so that's your only two main issues about this that you didn't like. You would like more superpower individuals in the new Avengers?
Not, I mean, I guess yeah, but more to make it more believable when they inevitably beat the big bad. Because I don't think they're gonna end the MCU on like everyone dying or everyone losing.
Hmm.
They
That's
could. That would be awesome and kind of unexpected and leave everyone heartbroken. I think that would be a bold move by the MCU. That would
yeah,
be cool. I don't think Disney will do it.
yeah. But yeah, we can only wish for it. But again, I don't know. They have to take a break after the Secret Wars, the what they're trying to do. So,
Yeah.
but what did you liked about it? The Thunderbolts.
Um, so it's been a while. Like it's been since the show aired that I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, so I don't totally remember how all of that ended. So for me, it's kind of fresh, but I like Congressman Barnes. I like
Mm.
that Bucky's trying to kind of do something good with his life. But I think what that leads to, maybe my favorite scene in the movie is after Bucky captures all of what I'll call Thunderbolts. And he kind of has them in that garage and he's like questioning like what they're doing, who's Bob? And then all of a sudden he gets the call. It's them telling him who Bob is.
Mm.
Oh no, I'm mistaken the scene. I did like that scene a lot. I'm thinking of the scene where Bucky kind of tells them all, like, we've all been through a lot of shitty things. I've done shitty things when I was under the control of Hydra,
Mm.
Yelena, with the Red Room, stuff like
Mm.
that. And he's like kind of telling them how to get through it. I like that scene. Like you said, this is has a lot of heavy beats on mental health.
Mm.
And that scene where like Bucky is still going through stuff himself and still trying to get through all of it. That was my favorite parts of Falcon and Winter Soldier was him looking for people to apologize to and just try and find that peace inside himself. Now he's trying to help other people do it. I think it's good character growth for him.
Mm. Yeah. And what do you think about Bob?
Dude, when we first meet Bob, he is great comedic relief.
Yes.
Genuinely. In the bunker, he was making me laugh. And like it feels like we haven't got good MCU humor in a while. And it felt like this was kind of old MCU humor.
Yes, and it didn't felt out of place either because he was technically the normal guy among them when he was in the
Yeah.
bunker.
Yeah, and like even like outside of his humor too, like David Arbor, like I love his comedic timing in most of his roles. Like he's pretty good at it. So he was cracking me up during this. I love how excited he gets to be working with the Winter Soldier.
Oh
And
yes.
like every time he sees him, he's just like, soldier.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah, and like
every second
it's
of it.
it's those heartfelt scenes that I loved about this movie. Like when he goes to chase down Yelena before Bob starts taking over all of New York, or Sentry, I guess at that point is who
Yeah,
is taking over
Sentry.
New York.
The
It's like
Void. He's technically the Void.
okay, yeah. I some one of the three names that Bob has in this movie.
Yes.
But that scene right before the Void starts taking over New York City, and like he's talking about Yelena and why she wanted to be a goalie in soccer, and it's because she could be the one to rely on. And she's like, I don't have that in me anymore. I don't know what joy feels like. And he goes, I still see it in you. And they're like pushing for that. That scene's awesome. And even then, like outside of that, it's the action in this movie's good,
Hmm.
but it's not over the top. So like
Yes.
for like there's some like Love and Thunder. There's a lot of stuff that's like over the top and unnecessary, or like just giving kids a bunch of weapons to go try and take down a god killer felt strange in that movie. But like this one, like in the bunker, like it's I like hand-to-hand combat scenes. Like it's one of the reasons I love The Winter Soldier. All the hand-to-hand combat down there is really cool. It just also felt like Ghost could have just like dog walked them all.
Hmm.
Because like none of them know how to fight a teleporting person,
Yeah.
but I get they're all like, highly trained. But I love that. I love, the end when Bob is fighting himself as the Void. I think that scene's good. But it's not over the top, and like I like the point where like they were like getting it was more like emotional and like more thought provoking when they're in, I guess they're in the Void. It's more thought provoking of how do I get out of this situation? And we see Yelena keep reliving that nightmare of hers till she figures out how to get out of it. And then she gets to the red room table with all those kids and like reliving another nightmare until she figures out how to get out of that one. And like now we're working together as a team to get Bob out of his nightmares. I think that all was like a really cool concept rather than just one big culminating fight.
Yes, it was not some sky beam or some faceless army that we faced. That was just one. That's one thing about that one. It was like that third act feel like we have never seen in MCU before because it was more of a it was really emotional. That third act was really, really emotional. You know what I mean? Like you can equate it in some way to Guardians of the Galaxy's third act. Guardians of the Galaxy three's third act.
Yeah. Honestly, what it made me think of when they were in the void going through all those rooms,
Mm.
it made me think this is what Multiverse of Madness could have been.
Oh yes, yes. And I think a lot of reason people obviously for Multiverse of Madness, people saw a really, really superior movie in every way with everything everywhere all at once. And it was around that time. You haven't seen it?
I have. Eh.
What? You didn't like that one either?
I thought the movie was super good on my first watch, and then I rewatched it again earlier this year for our podcast, and
Yeah.
I had some issues with it.
Oh, like what?
The I don't know. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis annoys me in most things she's in.
Oh.
Um, and like she didn't deserve that Oscar that year at all whatsoever. Um, I think that movie for me and for a lot of people relied on a lot of wow factor for that first watch. And then when I go back through and watch it, Hot Dog Fingers just doesn't make me laugh.
Hmm.
But Plug Awards in the Office just seems really childish for what seems to be like an adult movie that you need some thought behind in order to watch. I mean, I still have the movie at a 3 star, like 3 out of 5 star. So like, I don't think it's a bad movie by any means, but I was disappointed heavily when I rewatched it and had to drop it down 2 stars.
Oh. Okay, because if before that it was 5 out of 5, the first
Yeah,
time you
my first
watched it.
watch through, I was like, that movie was amazing. And then I rewatched it, and I was like, oh,
Okay. Like it's the rewatchability, the scene that you can rewatch are the emotional ones, right? You think about that because
yeah. My favorite character in that is the dad.
yes, Raymond.
Yeah, Waymond. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Raymond in that. And Stephanie Sue is very good in it, and she deserved the Oscar that year. I will 100% agree with that. Not Jamie Lee Curtis.
They're
The Oscars
giving
don't
it.
know what they're doing. Like, let's just call it how it is. I mean, they didn't nominate um Ray Fiennes this year for Conclave because they literally said because they thought he had already won an Oscar for Schindler's List. Yeah, it's 100% idiot. Like, how dumb can you be? That is a Google search away. I
Yeah.
can find that out. How can the people voting on Oscar winners not figure that out?
Yeah. It was just yeah. It was just bad because again, it's they play this game, right? If you have noticed, one year they will give it to the blockbuster that everyone, I'm talking about the best movie, right? They will give it to the blockbuster that everyone loved. For example, Oppenheimer or Joker or yada yada yada. And the next year they will give it to an indie movie. Then again, then they give it to a big movie, big blockbuster, and then the next they will give it to another indie movie, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's some indie movies I do think deserved it. Like Nomadland was very good.
Yeah. I haven't seen
Coda
that.
was really good. Um, I was surprised. My favorite movie of 2023 was Poor Things.
Oh,
I did not think that was going to beat out Killers of the Flower Moon for best, uh, or for lead female. Yeah, lead female, in a role. And I was happy Emma Stone won it because I loved Poor Things.
oh, interesting. I haven't seen that movie yet, so. But yeah,
It's have you watched much of Yorgos Lanthimos' filmography?
I haven't watched any, unfortunately.
Okay.
Sorry.
He's a very niche director. Like, you know
Okay.
how when you turn on like a Tarantino movie, you know it's a Tarantino movie?
Yes, yes,
When
absolutely.
when you turn on a Yorgos movie, you know it's a Yorgos movie.
Oh,
I would
okay.
honestly recommend maybe starting with The Lobster.
Okay. Okay. I will watch it. I think I saw it on Hulu. I think I've seen it on Hulu, so I will watch it because I love finding new things. And I watched Nora, but I didn't loved it as much as I
I'm with
should.
you. I didn't love Honora.
Yeah. I'm in no ways I'm saying it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie, and it's not like you get bored in the end. You still keep watching it throughout, but it was not that amazing to deserve an Oscar.
Yeah, I like Mikey Madsen in it. She's
Mm.
great. That's about all.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
her boyfriend, husband in it. I think I don't know the actor's name. I don't think he was good in it at all.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I get it's how his character was supposed to be,
Yeah.
but he was very annoying in it. And I think if you find an actor who can portray that a little better, it works for me. Um, I wish we would have spent a little more time with his parents. That scene, that whole part where they get divorced in the end feels very rushed. But
Yes.
let's get to a better 2025 movie.
Yeah.
Back on track.
Yes, yes, to Thunderbolt. Sorry, my
So,
ADHD. Sorry.
with dude, if you ever check out an episode of Goodwill Podcasting,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about like Oppenheimer, and somehow I'll end up talking about soccer. Like, I don't know
Oh,
how it works.
okay. Yeah.
But so you love this movie. What do you
Yeah,
like
I
better,
love.
this or
Oh my God. This
okay?
Thunderbolts. And it's only because of the fact that it dealt with something that I think is really needed in the world. And I think every one of us felt the same way. We felt depressed. If we didn't go to the clinical depression, we did feel depressed. Almost every one of us during some point of time. And they did feel like Bob, some phase of
Yeah.
their life when they hated each other so much that They created this evil persona that just engulfs everything. Obviously, it's a metaphor, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. And like honestly, I think a lot of the male audience that watches this might relate more to Yelena
Yeah.
because when she's talking to Bob in the beginning, when they just get outside the bunker, she's talking like Bob's like, "What do you do for this?" And she's like, "Just shove it down." And that's
Yes.
what most men do, if we're
Yeah.
being honest.
Yes. Honestly, if okay, hot take, but I don't think it's a gender thing either. A lot of us just shove it down.
Yeah.
They just not telegraph it to the world because obviously, if you look at Instagram, everyone is taking basically everyone is living their best life, which is clearly not true.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. So like, I mean, I'll tell you now, like
Hmm.
I'm someone who has battled with mental health um in my past. And I mean, still sometimes today. But the the biggest issue is shoving it down and not talking to people. And that's what I was getting to. Is like that's the issue I think with our generation and our society anymore is you live vicariously through these influencers, through these celebrities. And like the Kardashians. I don't mean this in a mean way, but what value do they bring to the table? Like all they're really doing is showing you things you can't afford, showing you a lifestyle that you're never going to live. I'm sorry, less than 1% of the world's population will ever see the lifestyle that they have. And you think you need all these materials, and comparison is the thief of all joy is one of my favorite quotes of all time because you're just comparing yourself to what you see. Even someone like, who is trying to become an influencer on TikTok might see someone else who has 100,000 followers and is like, why can't I get there? Like, because you're not being genuine to who you are. And
Yeah.
that's the issue with society is even off screen, you think about these people, these celebrities, these people you want to have a lifestyle like, and you're just not being genuine to yourself.
Yes, I think you have to be true to yourself. There's one more quote that I kind of love, and it does not relate much to you, but it's a Shakespeare quote like, um, show less what you have and say less what you know. Something like that. I'm butchering it. Like don't show off anything. It's basically
Yeah.
the main issue is just don't show off, dude. It's fake. Everything is fake, and you will feel hollow inside at the end too.
I was gonna say, I mean, like you and I obviously met through social media.
Yeah,
That's how we got to doing this podcast together tonight.
yeah.
I post every single day on there. On my personal pages, on my personal Facebook and Instagram, I don't know if I've posted in like over a year by now, like a personal, but like on Facebook, sometimes I share memes or something, but like nothing personal. Like I don't post my life on social media. I've never said I have two kids at home. I've never said their name on any of my actual like social media platforms. I've never said it. I've said my wife's name because she's actually been in a TikTok video with me,
Mhm.
and she did one of my podcasts. She did the Barbenheimer episode with me for the podcast.
Okay.
But outside of that, I don't really talk about her that much. Like that's my life, and then I have my social media life. That is just my thing. Like that I don't need everyone knowing everything about me.
Yeah, that's what we need right now in the world. Like, I don't know. It's like again, we introduce anything and then we go crazy with it and then we start knowing how to use it. I think that's how we I look at most of the things at this point. Same thing is going on with AI and same thing went with internet and I think we will get some sort of saturation with all of this, hopefully nearly in the future. But one last thing, okay, we have 5 minutes. So I was saying that let's finish it up on Thunderbolts and Marvel's future. Uh, okay, for Thunderbolts, my favorite scene was the one where Bob confronts the Void and the things that voids say to them, like no one cares about you and you'll always be alone and all those things. I think that thing resonated with a lot of people, and that's what made this
Yeah.
movie special.
Yeah. I mean, I know definitely, like I mentioned, I had serious mental health issues in the past, and that's something that like cycled through my head every day. I mean, I know I everyone in their life knows someone who has battled some sort of mental health, whether it's you or your closest friend, your parents, someone has, and just ask them. That is something that cycles through your head, and it's like the shittiest feeling in the world because you just can't get it to stop. At the end of, so like the two big takeaways of the movie we talked about today, like the two big like things that people talked about is like Superman. There's a lot of people who are like Republican, like aggressively Republican, who like were like, oh, it's an immigrant story. This is dumb. Like, that's not the message to take away from that movie. Guess what? Superman's been an immigrant since he was written in like the 40s or whenever he was written. I don't know. I
Mhm.
made that
Yeah.
decade up. Thunderbolts, the message is mental health, and for some reason that one's clear, but the Superman one is not. And I think people need to like really reanalyze these movies, or at least Superman, because Superman at the end of the day was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I still have it at a 3 star. I don't think there's much bad about it. I just don't think I could put it any higher than that. Thunderbolts, I think, has a top three message in the MCU. Like when you look at the whole movie and what it's trying to say, it might be number one. Like, so I think that's what elevates Thunderbolts above Superman for me.
Yeah. And
I do and I don't.
what do you mean?
I I like James Gunn. I trust him a lot. He's given us a lot of good movies over the years.
Hmm.
I think his peak, obviously so far, or at least his peak popularity, is Guardians. And now he's not just the director for this movie, he is the president of this entire umbrella that encases how many things underneath it. So I think part of it is him getting comfortable because I think maybe taking on that much of a mantle can be a little scary. Obviously, I'm not in his shoes. I don't know. But I think he played the first movie safe.
Hmm.
Because if he tried to go bold and Superman flops at the box office, there goes the future of the DC.
Hmm.
So I like what he's doing, but I think sitting on that comfortability and trying to play it safe, Guardians was such a big hit for characters nobody knew in Marvel, like the fan
Hmm.
base, and it worked that I think he played it safe and he was like, this has worked and it went really well 10 years ago. Let's just try it now to be safe. That's how I feel.
Hmm.